All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. I know everyone is focused on the new Bears offense. Quarterback Caleb Williams off to a very exciting start. Romo Dunes looks great as well. But I think there's some hidden gems on this defense that are coming to the surface. There's one guy in particular that people have been identifying. Let's get into the article and we'll talk more about this on the other side. This is from over on PFF. Says with the 2024 NFL season slowly creeping up, we're looking at PFF data collected over the past few seasons to identify potential breakout candidates at each position on offense and defense. Here's our summer 2024 all breakout team. We got cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, Chicago Bears. Says Stevenson was on the field for 830 snaps as a rookie. That's quite a lot, and endured some struggles in the first half of the season. He looked much improved in the second half of the year, earning a PFF coverage grade above 65 in 4 of his final 6 starts. And if for all you don't know, 65 is a above average grade, I would say, for a corner, especially a rookie. So this is really big news for Tyreek Stevenson. And Nick, I would just like to clarify this every time. This isn't just an all Bears breakout team. This isn't even an all NFC breakout team. This is an all NFL breakout team. Every corner in the NFL was available to potentially be the next breakout guy. Tyreek Stevenson from the Bears is the one that PFF selected. So I think this is pretty huge news for Chicago Bears fans. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick, but Chicago fans, in the comment section below. This would be an interesting one because there's a name that jumps to the top of the list immediately when I ask this one. But who is your favorite Bears cornerback of all time? There is a nut themed player as well that I think is a pretty big answer. But maybe some of you have some more interesting answers as well in the comment section below. While you're there, check out the description below the video. Check out our list of our favorite NFL books, the books that we would recommend to you. I personally would recommend Swagger by Jimmy Johnson. I think it's a great book about a legendary NFL, a legendary college coach, and a legendary commentator. You get to see all 3 phases of his life as well. So check out the books in the description below if you want to be the smartest person in the comment section. But Nick, what do you think about Tyreek Stevenson for the Bears?
You know, it's interesting. You brought it up in your comments, right? That all the attention is focused on this Bears offense, and part of that's rightly so, right? It's very exciting. But this defense quietly has a lot of, very young stars that are starting to break out. They got some veteran guys too. The acquisition of Sweat looks better and better by the day. But when you look at Stevenson, especially considering how good Johnson is on the other side, anytime you're the number 2 corner, you're kind of in a terrible situation because teams are going to pick on you all the time, especially if you're a rookie. But here's the interesting thing with Stevenson is that he just kept getting better and better and better. He took his lumps early in the season, but he started to figure it out, right? A lot of young guys, they hit the rookie wall, they kind of fall off. Not Stevenson. He learned from his mistakes and just kept getting better. We've got some graphs to kind of highlight that. Let's start with the first one here. Here on the left side, you can see his PFF coverage grade, weeks 1 through 9, right around 52.5, a little bit above. Not great, not ideal. He's trying to figure things out. But the final 9 weeks or so, weeks 10 through 18, his coverage grade was about 69. Again, a massive leap forward. He's starting to figure it out. He's starting to get better and better. But when you look at our final chart here, if you go into the next one, you can see how really it's clear and obvious how he really figured it out and his production really ramped up in the positive. So you got the same thing weeks 1 through 9 there on the left, again about 53. Not great. But then you look at weeks 10 through 14. Okay, he's gotten better. He's starting to figure it out. He's now above 60. And then bang, look at the way he finished that season. That's an over a 70 PFF grade. Folks, that's top 25. That's top 20 in the NFL if he can maintain that over the course of an entire season. And this is a guy who was starting to figure it out. He was starting to get the turnovers, the pass breakups. He was understanding his role in the defense, how to play different players, just becoming an NFL player. And if he can carry this momentum, and PFF and a lot of people think he can, he's going to be not just a quality number 2 corner opposite Jalen Johnson, but really more of a 1B option opposite Johnson. And that gives this Bears defense a massive boost.
Yeah, Nick, and you brought it up, talk about how good this is and what would be able to happen if he's to replicate that over the course of a season. We talk about good cornerbacks, especially in today's NFL. A name immediately pops to the top of your head is a guy like Jalen Ramsey, pretty good corner. I know he had his ups and downs. He had some injuries, things he was dealing with last year. But Jalen Ramsey graded out as 65.6 last season. So you see the latter half of Stevenson's season. above that. You know, he was playing better than Jalen Ramsey was, even in a diminished state, but still, nonetheless, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm looking at the Dolphins right now, so I'll bring up another example. You look at Fuller as well for the Dolphins. You know, this is a guy who came over, and last season he played really well. 83.1 PFF grade. That's number 7. We're talking about a guy who's pretty close to that value as well. I think this is really big news for the Bears because, as you brought it up, Jalen Johnson really did phenomenal last year. I think there's going to be a lot more pressure, a lot more eyes on Jalen Johnson. People are going to know what he is all about now. So I expect there to be more pressure on Jalen Johnson to be the guy. But when you have a guy like Tyreek Stevenson in the wings, ready to step up and just become, you know, just as good, just as explosive, you know, a big year. We all saw the explosion Jalen Johnson had on the scene. I expect Tyreek Stevenson to have another big jump into the league as well, to be like, hey, we don't just have to, you know, look out for Jalen Johnson. We're going to have to start looking out for Tyreek Stevenson as well. I think you're going to have a huge 1-2 punch at corner. And when you have that in this NFL, that is one of the most dangerous combinations a defense can have. Because like you brought up, you bring up Montez Sweat. When you have 2 corners that can lock down wide receivers and buy your pass rushers a little bit more time, you're going to cause so much havoc in backfields. And I just think having 2 good corners is going to boost this defense's overall play through the roof.
And just one more statistic just to end this on right here. Of course, Stevenson was picked on a lot as a rookie, like I already mentioned. One of the things I would have expected when I was doing research would be a poor tackling grade according to PFF, right? Rookie, a lot of targets. He's going to struggle to get people on the ground. Not so. He finished in the top 40 of all NFL corners in tackling grade last season, just above a guy that you mentioned, Jalen Ramsey, and right behind star players like DJ Reed for the New York Jets and Darius Slay. So we're talking about a guy in Stevenson that through some adversity still maintained a solid tackling effort. That's a great sign. You got to tackle if you're going to get picked on. Stevenson proved it. And also, of course, he got better and better and better at coverage as the season progressed. I think it's pretty clear here the Bears have a breakout star here in Tyreek Stevenson.